So it's another year, and Mojang have announced their yearly mob vote. This lets the community decide what mob they want to be added to the game out of an option of 3. And this year we get the crab, the penguin, and the armadillo. And let's just say people are not fond of mob votes, and they do have a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And so, almost humorously, the community is boycotting this year's mob vote, and they've been trending on Twitter with stuff like hashtag stop the mob vote, we deserve better, and humorously, the community has been boycotting the game with stuff like we deserve better, like hashtag stop the mob vote, and having these goofy sort of posts. The revolution must begin, and I kind of agree that the mob vote does suck, and there's various reasons why they aren't good for the game or really anything, and we'll look at why previous mob votes have kind of been a failure. They've not really lived up to what people have been expecting. So if we look at the wiki page, you can see that the phantom, it drops the phantom membranes upon being killed and a bit of XP, and all this is used for is to create the potion of falling and help repair the elytras. Not terrible, but it's very niche. You can't use it early game. You don't have because if you don't ruin stand, you can't use it. If you don't have the elytra, which is the end game, then you can't use the repair. Some people never even get the elytra, and some people very rarely will even use a slow falling potion, because maybe by this point you might have to have falling potion. So it's such a niche use case. Now, the glow squid was probably the most infamous mob vote, and was heavily disliked by the community, more so for outside reasons. But even then, if we look at the video, they don't actually explain what the glow squid does, except for the fact it's called the glow squid.
I always wish for world peace.
Sure you do. Well, wish no more. Meet the glow squid. Wow.
What was I meant to say again? Vote for Minecraft?
Can't talk. Must admire glow.
Agnes, Yen.
And that's it. So we have no clue, or the community has no clue, what the glow squid will do, what items it will drop. And so when it was added into the game, all it did was drop the glow ink, which then could be used on frames and items and signs to let them highlight glow. It didn't even actually really make it glow. And there was all the glow related items like glowstone, and now we also have the glow berries from the underground jungle. So it's adding these items and entities that didn't do anything, don't serve, don't expand the game. There's no point really going out to look for the glow squid, unless you want glowing signs, which might be a niche thing. You'd hope that maybe they'd add a new glowing block, or that this mob could have unique properties. And then if we jump to just last year, we got the vote for the sniffer. Again, looked very cool in concept, and this is what they said in the original trailer.
How to lay eggs underwater?
Not yet.
They look ancient.
These are sniffer eggs. I thought they were extinct.
What kind of chicken is that?
Oh, they aren't birds at all. The sniffer is an ancient mob.
Were they plant experts?
They loved plants and found seeds by sniffing the ground in the most adorable way.
With all of these eggs, I bet we can...
So it says that it's an ancient mob. You get the egg, the hatches, and it'll come out and it'll find seeds. Seems pretty cool. What do those seeds do in question? Well, you got 2 new plants. You got the torch flower, and you got the pitcher pod. What do these things do? Absolutely nothing. They are purely aesthetic. Not only that, what makes them even more annoying is that the sniffer itself is not easy to get. You have to really go out your way. You have to, it says here, found in suspicious sand in warm ocean ruins. So you got to find the biome with the warm oceans, and then you need to get the egg from the suspicious sand in the monument, in the ruin that has spawned, and then wait for it to dig up the seed once it's ready, and then you got yourself a new aesthetic plant. That's all it does. And if you wanted to breed 2, you need obviously 2 mobs. That means you need to find 2 eggs just to get more than 1 spawn. It's such a waste of a mob. It's just there that really no one's going to use or go and get, except for maybe once they've done what they want. It's like, hey, I'll go out and get sniffer. So I just have a couple of slides that kind of show you an example of a good mob, an entity that should be added into a game. If you go back to the cow, like Diagon Tree, we see that the cow has so many uses for it. It drops 2 items, the leather and the beef. And the leather can be used to make books. It can be traded with villagers. It can be used to make armor. It can be used to make mitre frames. And then the books can be used to make the bookshelf, which can then be used to level up your enchantment table to get higher levels. And it can also be decorative. And the beef just adds another sort of food source that can be cooked at the furnace. It's really has plenty of uses. There's a reason to get the cow. It's not just a mob that sort of chills there that does nothing. The sniffer, on the other hand, like I said, you know, it's not easy to get. You get the egg, and you get the sniffer, and you get these 2 plants that are purely aesthetic. They don't do anything. It's not like, oh, they give you XP or they give you a buff, which would be really nice, you know. And the reason I really wanted to highlight those on why the mobs don't really do much is because it's part of a bigger picture of Minecraft recently has been adding a lot of items that are non-functional. They don't really do anything in the game or expand the game, as opposed to previous updates such as the Nether update or even the Caves update, which is expanding existing parts of the game that felt a bit weak. The Nether was a bit weak. There wasn't much you could do in the game, and so expanding that helps to give reason for people to go there and do stuff there. In the update that came out this year, the pots and the bamboo raft are purely aesthetic. They don't serve anything. The pot is just purely just to look good. You can't put water, can't put items in it. And the bamboo is just a reskin of a normal boat. It's not faster, it's not slower, which is, you know, kind of a shame. It would be nice if it did something else rather than spending time developing these items that don't do anything, when you could think that these items could be spent, that items could serve a purpose, rather than wasting time on these non-useful items that people might not really use. Like, does anyone really care? The color of the boots, not really. So why does Mojang do the mob votes? If all this backlash again, so this is on the hashtag, you see there's a lot of stuff going on it. It's free publicity, really. The mob vote gets people talking. And he's like, hey, we've got a new update coming up. You get to choose what mob to vote for in the game. So it gets people engaged and talking between them. It's like, hey, look, a new Minecraft update is coming and we get to choose between these 3 mobs in the game. It gets a lot of free advertisement, essentially. Now, I, as a developer, don't think this is a great idea in getting the public to vote unless you go deliver on all of them. I think a better approach would be, if they are going to do a mob vote, players should choose the one they want to be added first, but the rest get added as well. It's like, hey, which one do you want to see in the game first? And then the next ones will be added subsequently to the game. And interestingly, they have actually added mobs that didn't get voted in. This year's update with the toad or frog and the swamp with the boat, the chest, was actually a previous mob vote that has now been added. And so now they've got this just huge backlog to go up of possible mobs who had been added to make out the ostrich, the vulture, the moobloom, isolager, glass, copper golem, rascal, and tough golem. You know, people would like to see these in the game. Really, Minecraft should just choose what they want to add in the game. They should personally and internally have these 3 mobs that they want, or how many, and they decide what they think is going to fit in the game and focus on that, rather than waste time setting up, oh, we should have 3 mobs that we want that people can vote for, that who knows how it functions, which is a wider issue of Minecraft just announcing things so early before they have any real idea what the game, what the item or entity will look like, or the fireflies and the birch trees. They weren't added in the game, they were just concept art. And it's like, oh, why show us if you're not going to add it? Or Mojang should just say, this is what is going to be the game and this is how it's going to work. And if they can't do that, then they should just delay the updates. If they need more time, they should do it. Minecraft's not going to go away. People are going to still play the game. There's nothing that can replace it. If people want content, they can add mods to the game. I think people are patient enough to wait for content. They're not going to stop playing the game. Yes, they might get a dip in players, but once that update comes, they'll come back. And if they want some help, there is the community. Minecraft Bedrock does have the coin shop, which is a bit controversial, but it's, you know, extra content that they don't have to necessarily develop. So overall, this is what I think Mojang should do, is the update so early. This relates to the mob votes, since the mob votes are just announced before they have any real idea what to do specifically. They don't know what it's going to do. Or cancel the whole mob votes, which I think is the best one. Or be clear what the mobs will do, so we know exactly what's going to add it, or even if just an early prototype might be nice. But then it's still subject to change, which is not great. It's annoying when you see content, oh, it looks like this, and then they get rid of it. Add the content that enhances the gameplay and expands existing features. Copper have more features. I remember when the option for the copper golem to be added, we were like, you know, it adds more use for copper. Copper kind of just is an aesthetic item, and there's so much of it. It would be great if there was more uses for it. Applies to the mob votes. We have plenty of mobs that don't do anything. Pandas, how many people have actually seen a panda, first of all, or even the polar bear? The polar bear doesn't do anything. It's just there. Why they add it if it doesn't really do anything? Rework existing content. You know, cancel the mob vote and says we're gonna, or do a new mob vote where it says which mob you want to be reworked or enhanced. You know, choice between the panda, the polar bear. If they need to slow down the rate of the updates, give themselves time to work on it. I know a lot of people joke about that. Oh, Mojang doesn't put any work in; they just give the bare minimum. But you got to remember that Mojang probably go through a very strict code review for their content. It's got to run on a lot of platforms, and they're developing essentially 2 different games. So you've got the Bedrock and the Java. They're both written in 2 different languages. So communication must be made between those teams to see if they're on the same level, because they both release the updates at the same time. Previously they didn't, but now they do. And particularly Bedrock, which runs on iOS, where it runs on multiple platforms, while the Java is just PC, but they still want them optimized to run on lower-end hardware. So it's probably difficult to add these mobs and features without ruining the optimization for the game. So what is your opinions on the mob vote? Should it be removed, or do you like it, or do you not care? It's like, just, content is content, and if I want content, I'll just make or add a mod if I need so. Anyway, thanks for watching. Comment your opinion down below and subscribe if you want to see more gaming and programming related content.